as you could see from the introduction, spring has sprung in a lot of ways. We have about 5 days where all of the trees bloom and it's just gorgeous. And from here on out, we'll get little bursts of color, like the weeping cherry trees are starting to bloom. The lilacs will be blooming in the next couple days, I think. Last week was gorgeous, and we ended up going back to the lake on Friday, and I got my first dip of the season. I had Paige film it for posterity's sake, so maybe I'll stick it in here as well. But since Friday, the weather has turned back to this like gray, rainy, gloomy New England spring. So with that, the temperatures have gone down, moods have been up and down, and that's kind of where I wanted to start off with this week's video. Spring and summer are historically my not great seasons. In the spring, I struggle with mental health. In the summer, I struggle with the physicality of things. My body does not like the heat. So yeah, I struggle, and I was thinking about this yesterday after a day of being on the phone and handling logistics for most of the day. It was not a great day. Everything just seemed so much harder than it needed to be. And yeah, I was thinking about it, and what is it that, it can bring into these gloomy days where our moods are just so impacted by the weather and the drastic changes that come with spring. And all I could think about was wanting that coziness of winter and fall, where you put on the layers, you get the fire going, you sit by the fire to do your work, like all of those things. And it doesn't necessarily apply this time of year. It's chilly, but it doesn't warrant a fire. It also doesn't warrant the big cozy sweaters that I think help. Actually, I'm just thinking about this now. I think because I love a weighted blanket, I think that's partly why I enjoy wearing such bulky, cozy sweaters, is that sensory part. So what I'm thinking about for the next 12 to 14 weeks is how to bring in some coziness and gentleness into this season. And I think it's possible. I think it's possible to be cozy in the spring and summer. And so for today, what I wanted to do, I got most of my work done this morning. I've got my meal planning done and my grocery list made. And I'd like to do a little bit of baking, because that always feels cozy. I'm not a great baker. My daughter is a wonderful baker, but I think it's something that I want to do today. So I found on the Loopy Whisk website her lemon raspberry crumble bars. So I think we're gonna make that. I know we have probably 4 or 5 jars of jam in the fridge in various states of fullness. So it might not be just raspberry. Maybe it'll be like a raspberry, strawberry, blueberry crumble. We'll see what it ends up being. But yeah, I'd like to do some baking. I would like to have some gentleness in the afternoon. There's space for that today. So I've got a new stack of books from the library, maybe we'll dive into. A new knitting project, maybe I can show you. And we'll just go from there. I'm trying to remember that these days, even in the busiest days, we can find a couple minutes here and there to add some gentleness to our day. I think gentleness is where I'm at instead of like slow living. I really want to explore this idea of gentle living, because as I was on multiple phone calls yesterday, I kept thinking about, like, I'd pause for a second, like, how can I approach this more gently? You can't always approach things more slowly, but because just the speed at which things go, the speed at which you have to pay attention, the speed of how even automated phone calls feel really rushed sometimes. but a gentle approach I think can be taken at any speed. So I want to dig into that a little bit this season. And for now, let's just head to the grocery store and get started and get all of our stuff. I've got a regular weekly shop to do, so I hope you're here for the ride, to go along for the ride. I hope you're here. I hope you're here. I'm just glad you're here. We'll leave it at that. And yeah, so let's go. We're back. Everything has been unloaded. We've had snacks. So when I was at the store, I found these. I try not to buy a lot of processed gluten-free snacks for myself because nobody else in the house eats them, out of respect for me and my, special diet and how expensive things are for gluten-free stuff. So I can't do gluten, dairy, nuts. And then there's a whole slew of random stuff like apples, cherries, onions, garlic. I mean, it runs the gamut because of IBS and oral allergy syndrome as well. So I saw, I'll probably put it in, you probably saw me grab these. I hadn't seen them before. They're Heavenly Hunks, ridiculously amazing oatmeal chocolate chip bites. The ingredients look pretty good. The only allergen is coconut, so it's a bummer if you can't have coconut. But I wanted to show you these. I had one when I got home, and they're really good. They're soft and chewy. They're just these little bites. They're little bites. But yeah, if you see them and are looking for a good snack with sustainably sourced things, if you don't mind a little sugar, they're really good. So I've got all the ingredients. I've got to say, I'm feeling a little bit on the struggle bus today. It says unloading and getting through. Like, it's just, things are feeling kind of blah still. And I think it's still the weather. The grocery store was packed for a Tuesday afternoon. It was kind of bizarre. Yeah. So I'm, like I said before, I'm not the best baker, and sometimes that can cause some frustration while I'm baking, but we're gonna make it not be that way today. I'm gonna take my time, and I was right. We have 4 opened jars of this particular brand of jam. There's others in there too. But I think some of these are raspberry, some of these are blueberry, some of these are strawberry. So I'm just gonna combine it and have like a mixed berry crumble, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So let this be a reminder that not all days are like super shiny, beautiful days, but we can choose, even when we're struggling, to have a couple moments that feel cozy and sweet. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how this baking goes. It will be what it will be, and that's okay. What did I say? Struggle bus all the way. I don't know if you caught that. I had propped my camera on top of a bowl. Probably not a smart idea. With my little tripod thing, and then as I was measuring the sugar, and I could see the camera going like this, and so I went to grab it, and in my other hand the sugar went flying. So now the camera's covered in sugar. The floor was, I just vacuumed that up. So we'll try this again, okay? Okay. Oh, that's traffic. Kitchen's all cleaned up. I'm in the office because it's a quiet place. I think I'm probably just gonna do a lot of filming in here because I can close the door. It doesn't matter what else the house is up to. And yeah, I like the space. So the bars are in the oven. I think they've got about 15 minutes left. Fingers crossed, they were looking good, but I wanted to show you what I picked up at the library yesterday. It's always fun to see what people are reading, what's available at different libraries, and yeah, and I have my latest knitting project too to show you real quick. So the first book, I love this title. I think it's hysterical. Her first book was called Kilt Trip, and I didn't actually love it. I think I might not have even finished it, but I'm willing to try her second book. It's called Scott and Bothered by Alexandra Kiley. And I just think this is the cutest book. Yeah, I love the Highland cow in it. And the next one I picked up was The Page Turner by Viola Shipman. This looked really cool. I love the colors, and Oh, this is the pen name of Wade Roos, the USA Today and internationally best-selling author of 5 memoirs and 12 novels. I did not know that. Interesting. It looks like an interesting read. There's a theme. I kind of am in a place where I want light, fluffy books. I'm reading craft books and creativity books, and the world is really heavy right now, so I choose to escape into books, and I think that's okay. That's kind of what they're there for. The next one is The Book Boyfriend, which also looked very cute. This one, this one, that's right, the back cover sounded really good. Jennifer Worth lives to escape into the world of her favorite romantasy series, where the romance is sweeping and the men are brave, chivalrous, and winged. Newly single and craving connection, she travels to an immersive fan experience celebrating all things. I'm not even going to pretend to be able to pronounce the world. Only to see the last face she expected, Scott Daniels, her work nemesis. I love this kind of enemies to lovers thing. And then lastly, I've heard about this one. I think I've seen it a lot on Instagram. The Library of Lost Dollhouses. And this one is not, it doesn't really go with all the others, but it still looked fantastic. I think it's got some historical fiction in it. Have you read any of these? How were they? I'd be curious to hear. So, on to what I'm knitting. And I just started this project. It is the Ostara sweater by Tanis Fiber Arts. I saw this pattern when Tanis put it out a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever. And I couldn't get it out of my head. Not only could I not get the pattern out of my head, I couldn't get the color that she used in the pattern out of my head. And it's one of hers, like she dyes yarn. She's a Canadian fiber artist. And I let it sit in my head for a while, and I haven't had this happen for a long time where it's not only the pattern but also the specific yarn and specific color, because oftentimes I have no problem like picking a different color that goes well for me. But this one, and I will, if I haven't put up a picture here already, I will, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. The colors are my colors, like the blues and the purples, and oh, the construction looked so cool and different from a lot of the patterns that I've been seeing. So a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and bought the yarn. I took some footage when I was winding it just so that you could see the colors, and just, oh, it is squishy, it's worsted yarn. It just felt special. It felt like a reward for like the end of the year or the end of the school year. Finn graduating, like that's a gigantic thing. I'm just taking my tea bag out. I use these all the time. They're from Etsy, and if you saw the Adding Whimsy to Your Home video, that's when I got these, and I love them. I use them so much, and it brings me so much joy. Gosh, I am all over the place today. If you are hanging in there with me, I really appreciate it. I have a whole thought on like showing up as we are. But anyway, back to the yarn. So I got the yarn, wound it up into cakes, and started it as kind of a gift to myself for lots of things. And it's knit in this, I don't want to give too much away because it is a paid pattern, and we honor paid patterns around here, and as everyone should. But it's knit up in a broken rib stitch, and it is so divine. I feel kind of like this is a turning point for me as a knitter in some ways, because I'm just savoring it. Like, I could whip through this project, but it's the first one in a long time that I just want to kind of pace myself, because the yarn is so luxurious, the pattern is so thoughtful. It's just I want to savor this experience. And it was a splurge. It was a big splurge. And so again, you know, having kids in college and all of the things, like, we're not going to be in a position for me to spend a ton of money on yarn moving forward. And so yeah, I'm going to savor this. So this is the back. It starts off, you know, with a double knit bit, and then you get into the back. And I mean, just look at the colors. Oh my gosh, the color and the stitch. It is gorgeous. Oh, it is so pretty. And yeah, so I'm really, really enjoying this, and I'm pacing myself and kind of like, it's like a really special chocolate bar that you just like allow yourself to have a little bit each day so you can make it last as long as possible. And knitting in springtime, like, yeah, I'll be able, because we're in Maine, I'll be able to use this cardigan probably 4 seasons out of the year, but there's no rush. There's no rush for it to get done for fall or winter or anything. So I'm just really enjoying the experience. The bars should probably be done in a minute or two. I'm listening for the ding. But I went down the rabbit hole the other day on Reddit and saw some threads on some YouTubers that I really enjoy and admire, and it put me in a mood. It put me in a mood because I'm just so tired of people tearing each other down, and I'm tired of people thinking that they know everything about a person and their situation. And I'm tired of people not being curious and having an open mind and all of the things. And maybe that's why I'm kind of struggling with this today, because it really got me thinking about, like, do I want to put myself, my videos into the world, into a world that is so critical of creators and people who are just doing what they're doing? And one of course, the critiques on YouTubers and people who are filming their life is the authenticity factor. And how can we be super authentic if we're staging scenes and if we're doing this and if we're doing that? And it just breaks my heart to think that people can't understand or can't see the beauty in taking a few extra seconds, a few extra minutes to stage something. And I get the overstaging and things that come off as fake, but for, I would say, most of us, we're just being ourselves on here. And we want to share our lives. I'm saying we, and I guess I mostly mean myself. But it just makes me think about sharing anything and sharing your heart when you make something, whether it's a book, an Instagram post, an essay, a Substack piece, a Patreon piece, whatever, a painting, a drawing. It takes so much. It takes so much vulnerability and bravery to do that. And so I guess I just want to say to myself and to other people, like, don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to those who just don't have a kind word to say about anything. Opening ourselves up to this kind of stuff, sometimes I don't know why. You know, I've been on Instagram for years and years and years. I've shared my writing for years and years publicly. There are people, and people who are probably watching this, you know, who are committed to not understanding me and my work. We can't really control who sees what we put out there. And we're not responsible for people's reactions to our work and our art and our creativity and our lives. The timer went off. Hold on. Okay, they're out of the oven. They look amazing. I'll show you pictures after. And so back to what I was saying. One of the other things that I saw while I was, looking at that Reddit thread, which I swear we should not be on, like, just like book reviews are not for authors, Reddit is so good for certain things, but as a creator, it is just not. I don't think it's a safe place for creative people. Maybe just sensitive souls. I don't know. But one of the things was, this person was being critiqued for, I'm saying critiqued, that's a kind word, critiqued for having changed. And I think that struck a nerve with me, because we're always changing. We are always evolving as people. How we choose to interact with other people, how we choose to interact with an audience, how we choose to interact with ourselves and our friends and our loved ones is ever changing. Our boundaries are ever changing. And I guess because I have changed so much over the last 10, 20 years, 2 months even, I know that if some people were to see me doing this kind of work from, several lifetimes ago, they might be like, oh, that's not Corinne. That's not who she is. What is she doing? Who does she think she is? But they knew me in a different iteration. They knew me in it. I don't want to say a different life, but we all change so much. That is the whole point of living and existing, is changing and evolving and becoming. And I have a feeling that as we keep evolving, it's just that whole thing about, you can't take everyone with you. You just can't. The people who are committed to misunderstanding you, while at the same time not asking questions to understand, that's on them. If they don't want to understand, they don't have to. And all of that is, I keep having to remind myself that all I can do is just show up as I am today and be who I am today. And hopefully that resonates with you and that connects with you in some way. So yeah, I think all of that's been on my heart and my mind the last couple days. And it's funny, as the weather changes, like, that hasn't helped me thinking about all of that, because, I've only been on YouTube for a couple of months, since January, and it's a roller coaster, and it's a roller coaster, and it's also such an exciting, maybe exciting isn't the right word. It's a really, there are times when it's like, why am I trying to speak live? Not live, but why am I trying to speak when I write so much better? But I think it's important, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to come on here onto YouTube, was to learn how to show up in different ways. But being here on YouTube, it's such, to me, it feels playful. To me, it feels like a new open space to try things and learn things and be myself and connect with people and connect with you. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And on the same hand, it's always confronting when you think about people who are not going to receive what you're doing the way that you intend it to be received. And that happens with pieces of writing. It happens with books. Not every book is meant for everyone. Not every person is meant for everyone. We're not supposed to connect with every single person out there. And And that's important. It's important to remember, and it's important to remember that that's not a failing on any of our parts. It's just the way that things are. You know, you're not supposed to get along with every single person on this planet. You're just not. And yet, you are remarkable, and you are magnificent, and you are beautiful as yourself. There's nothing wrong with not connecting with a certain person at a certain time in a certain way. So, long-winded. I was going to try not to be long-winded today, but I guess that's just the way it is. So, the bars are cooling. I'm going to finish my cup of tea. Probably go have a raspberry bar, and have some quiet moments and enjoy the rest of the day with my books and my knitting. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you're well. I hope in this season you are able to find some gentleness towards yourself. I think that's the key. So until next time, I will see you then. I will see you next time. Be well, friends, and yeah, go gently. So gently.